What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View, number 2, the second official episode of our Schmoedown related podcast here. I am Jake Berlin, your host, and I am joined today by my co-host, Brian Avalancino. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk some Schmoedown.
Ready to talk some Schmoedown. Yeah, we got not a lot to talk about today. Not a ton, but we have some things to talk about.
We do.
And we're going to be running through some matches that have been announced that'll be coming out through the next week. We're not going to go into detail about matches that are coming out down the pipeline as Christian released that full schedule over the next couple weeks. We're just going to be covering the matches that we're going to be seeing over the next week or so because we're going to be doing a weekly show. That's what this show is all about. We're going to be covering it every single week. We're going to be breaking down matches, going over points, how factions are ranking, trades, feuds, all that good stuff. And then a little bit later in the show, we're going to be talking about our favorite picks and our favorites and picks for the season, I should say, who we think that could end up on top at the end of 2020. Mm-hmm. And so let's get right into this, Brian. We have the section that we're calling Breaking News and Updates. Last week, this was all about the trade that happened between Kaiser and Robert Meyer Burnett. Yep. We covered that. But this week, we're just going to be covering the upcoming schedule that's happening. Do you want to break that down over the next week or so?
Yeah, so we've got, for the next week, we do have, as you've coined it, would you like to say?
I don't know if I coined it. I'm not going to take the credit for it, but the SEN Live Civil War.
Yeah, so we do have the SEN Live Civil War that is going to be going on between RBIII and Ben Goddard,
Yes. It's going to be a fun match. That's going to be a fun match. So I think we previewed this on our last episode.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that my thoughts on it have shifted.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with Ben Goddard on this one.
Okay.
I am. And I think the reason why is because, one, I feel like he might have a little bit of a beginner luck.
Okay.
I think he might come out, a little spitfire a little bit because it is his first match. It's up against RB3. It's not up against someone that is a big time player or maybe someone who's been playing in the league. Yet. RB3 has experience, but he doesn't have his normal experience compared to other players. Mm-hmm. And as he has stated multiple times on SEN, when sometimes the lights will get to RB3 a little bit. He'll forget a little bit about the game, and that'll kind of get in the way a little bit. I feel like Goddard's just going to be on lockdown mode. Okay. I feel like he's going to be, he's going to have the key, he's going to throw it away, and it's just going to be from beginning to end. He's just going to be firing off stuff. I'm not going to say he's going to wallop RB3. It's going to be a good game, but I do think that he'll come out on top.
So are we saying within 3 points?
It will not be a TKO. Okay. I think it'll go down to the last question. Okay. I do think it'll go down to the last question.
So like a guy
Guy Burnett situation. Yeah. From New York. Yeah, totally. It could be like that. I do think that it'll end up being a higher points. Okay. Because we have to remember that in this new season, they're refiltering all the points from the previous seasons. And so there's definitely going to be some of those softball questions that they had early on. It'll all just depend on what wheel slice they spin, obviously.
Of course.
But I do think that it'll be a great game between the two of them.
I feel like this is going to be one of the funniest
matches. I don't know about funny, but funniest, I think it's fun.
Funniest in the sense of, like, I feel like Christian's going to be giving them crap.
Well, yeah. We also have to keep in mind the managers that come into play in this too. We have Winston and Jay in RB3's corner, and then we have Kate in Ben Goddard's corner.
That's what I'm saying.
It's full on SEN battle here.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to see Kate as a manager for the first time. Yep. Right? We're going to see Winston as a manager for the first time. Mm-hmm. Kate has she has Grace in her corner who has the experience. Winston has Jay in the corner who has the experience. But I have a feeling because it is the first match, those two are kind of going to have to take the spotlight a little bit to show who they are. Okay. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be very entertaining.
And they filmed it last weekend, and they posted that picture of him standing in front of the image, and it just gets you hyped up. Yeah. Ben's got the gloves on, and RB3's got the Laker jersey on. It's going to be a really, really fun match.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I feel like we're definitely going to have some laughs coming out of this, and I can't wait for it.
Who do you have?
I'm going to stick with RB3. Okay. I feel like he is going to go for the throat punch where it's
maybe like we might see a different RB3.
That's what I feel like. He's literally just going to be like, I'm going to end you, and I'm going to make sure that.
See, I feel like, and I'm pretty sure that they've said this, but I can't. RB3's not a heel. He's not a heel.
No.
Ben Goddard is going to be the heel.
Probably.
He's definitely. I mean, they're calling him the Bandit.
Yeah.
And he's essentially taking people's interests and personas whose persona is he taking this time around? Is it going to be RB3's or is it going to be someone else's? But I definitely feel like the aggression will come from Goddard's side more than RB3. RB3 is just so soft spoken, and I mean, look, he knows his knowledge. That's all he needs to go off of.
It's going to be like I'm going to slash you with my words, like the
fair.
sharp tongue, like
the quick one-liners,
like that type of stuff. And
I get it.
And I'm still going to stick with RB3.
I think
I'm pretty sure that's what I picked last week.
I think we both did.
Yeah. So
we have one more match this week, right? Or next week?
No, next week. Next week is going to be Tom and Paul versus Deep 13.
And Deep 13 is Alonzo Duralde and Whitney Seibold.
Yes.
Both brand new teams. And we have, so that's the Burning Droogs versus the Den, correct? No.
For who?
So,
sorry, Burning Droogs would be
Whitney Seibold.
Whitney Seibold. Tom and Paul is
the Den.
The Den.
The Den. Yeah. So we have the Den versus the Burning Droogs. So the Den's competing twice in the next week.
Den's getting their fill.
Which could go very great or very bad, obviously, depending on how it ends up. It's interesting because they're both brand new teams. We know how they all are individually. Neither of them are going to have their original partners with them. So, Whitney Seibold's competed with,
Tom with Video Drew.
And, I mean, Paul Preston without his movie guys. And,
Tom and Paul is going to be.
Well, so this is what it comes down to. And I'll say right off the bat, I do have Tom and Paul.
So do I.
I have Tom and Paul. I think that the league should legitimately be scared of these guys.
Especially Tom.
Well, Paul is no slouch.
Paul is no slouch either.
Paul is no slouch at all.
Tom scares me.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to stump him for him to miss
their success is all going to hinge on if Tom and Paul get
work well together.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. If Paul Preston can handle Tom like Video Drew does, or just can kind of corral him and stay up with him, the league should seriously be very scared of this team.
It sounds mean, but I could literally just see Paul Preston just ignoring Tom.
Maybe.
Being like...
But I don't think Paul Preston's like that type of player.
No, I don't either. But when he says, I just immediately think of Tom going you want to see a body? And Paul just being ignore him or just keep going.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be interesting. I think, like I said, if these two get on a roll and they get to know each other and they get to playing with each other, Kate really has a gem on their hand. Yeah. This could be a very scary team. If I'm not mistaken, it was their first two picks, correct?
Yes.
Tom and Paul were their first two, and it just makes sense to pair them together. They're both incredibly knowledgeable. Paul Preston, as a rookie last year, absolutely crushed it. And I think pairing him with one of the better rookies from last year as well at the end of the season, someone who missed maybe 4 questions in 5 matches.
It's insane.
It's going to be a really cool match, but this is what are they called? The Deep 13?
Deep 13.
Yeah. They are no slouches either. Whitney Seibold has continuously proven himself constantly, not just in teams, but in singles as well. He's had great matches over the last couple of years. He was originally paired with Bibiani, which obviously competing with Bibiani is a big deal. But Alonzo
Bibiani was petitioning for him,
yes,
someone better pick him soon.
And Alonzo Duralde, partnered with Matt Atchity for Paddington 2, arguably was the better player on that team because Matt Atchity, sometimes would get in his own head for some things. Yeah. If Alonzo Duralde gets in a groove, people should also be scared of him as well. Absolutely. His knowledge is incredible for movies. And again, with teams, your knowledge is a big deal, but it really matters on how you play with each other. I can totally see Whitney Seibold and Alonzo Duralde getting along with each other and having a great run in this league.
Yeah, well, and you kind of think about it too, if a pair doesn't work, maybe they win, but it just was out of just pure luck.
Yeah.
They can switch to a partner and that just a new name and your points are still there for the team. And we're going to see this week or two is going to be we're going to see how the Den holds out because we're going to see a singles match and a team match from them. And to be honest, if this isn't their A squad for their team, which it clearly will be because it's Tom and Paul Preston, this is going to really show a lot of hands for the Den and what they can do. So, I mean,
after the draft, I talked about it. I thought that outside of like, the Finstock exchange and obviously corruption with their picks, and of course Rockstars, can never count out Rockstars. I felt like the Den and the Mouthy Mercs were the two that people needed to look out for. They really need to look out for. I thought Kate, for a first-time manager, being kind of thrust into the position very quickly. Yeah. I thought she did an incredible job drafting people.
And when we were there, she knew what she was doing, but like it almost seemed like she wasn't taking it seriously.
Yes,
but she most definitely
she wants to win, and she got into this game very quickly. And you can tell on SCN how she talks about it. I could easily see the Den walking away with the number of points after these two matches.
Yeah.
If Ben Goddard ends up losing, I think that he does have a bright future in singles in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I do think that if Paul and Tom lose, it will be, I'm not going to say a upset, but I'm going to say a surprise if they do lose.
It's going to be a shock because, I mean, just from previous showings of those two, they should just, by what we know of them, be strong, period.
Totally.
It's literally just going to come down to how they work well together and if they're able to just work well as a team and play like the wheel round. If whatever they land on, are they both going to be able to work together and do it? Or is one side going to show better than the other? But I don't see that happening. I feel like
it's going to be very interesting. I think that the first two studio matches of the season, I think that we have really two great matches on our hand. Obviously everyone who follows Schmoedown wants to see the SCN Live Civil War.
Yeah.
That's a match that has to happen. When it was announced, people are freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, when is this happening? And of course it's the first one of the season.
Yeah, it's not the most prestigious match of all time.
But it hits with everybody.
And one that people want to see.
Exactly. And then you're starting off strong with teams by playing Paul and Tom against Deep 13. I mean,
absolutely.
That could be a match that sets the bar for a lot going forward.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for it. I think that these are two great studio matches to kind of start the season off. And just a little plug for us here. We are going to have reactions up to them. This comes out on Thursday. Tomorrow on Friday, you'll see our New York live event reactions. We had to wait until it was released publicly to do everything for video wise and editing. They will be up there on Friday. You'll be able to see us. They'll be in two separate videos for the undercard, Andrew Guy versus Burnett, and then the triple threat of Merle, Meyer, and Bibiani. Two different reactions, so go check those out. But next week we'll have SCN ones as well. Maybe we'll get together sometime this weekend and do a reaction for the SCN one.
Yeah.
Because it is released public tomorrow by the time it comes out on Friday.
Perfect.
And I obviously want to watch it as soon as possible because I don't want any kind of spoilers. Because it's now known inside the groups, spoilers are free reign, and I'm within everything, and I'm going to lose my crap if something spoiled.
Yeah,
I will lose my crap if something spoiled.
Yeah, that'd be pretty disappointing.
All right, well, let's move on to our final segment of the show, which is just straight discussions. And as I mentioned up at the top, we're going to get to our favorites and our picks for the years. Some people that we're going to be looking out for, obviously our fan favorites for ourselves, but people we may be thinking of that may end up with a title or title shots by the end of the year and have a big year. So Brian, let's start off with singles, man. Let's do kill two birds with one stone here. Your favorite and your pick. If they are two different people, who do you have for the singles?
To be completely honest, I think Tom is scary.
So a lot of people are thinking. Like,
he is a name, like, I could go with, like, an Ethan Irwin.
Yeah.
Or a Ben Bateman, obviously, or something. But Tom is scary good. And we don't know. Like, we know he's good.
We don't know what he knows because he's never done singles.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, he's kind of like someone that could just come out and
competition.
And you miss one question and you're done. Mm-hmm. And so for me, Tom is a scary choice.
Yeah.
And I mean, now will we probably see him? I feel like we're going to see him more in teams.
I think Kate's going to use him as much as possible.
So do I, which I hope it doesn't like create kind of like a burnout almost just because you're I mean, you do it if you're competing a lot.
In both, it's a lot.
Yeah. But if he can like manage this, Tom is scary.
So good. Is he your favorite or your pick, or is he both?
I honestly, right now, he's probably at the very least my pick. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like, and you know me, I love my villains, but Kalinowski is someone who I could see doing.
Well, he almost did it last year. I
mean, Shannon is not going to let him.
No, not at all.
Slack.
Yeah, totally. I feel you.
She's going to make him work, and I have a hard time rooting against him too.
Well, he's your favorite. Your favorite player.
He's always been one of my favorites. But like in general, he's one of those ones you can never count out.
No, never.
I unfortunately do see or feel like Bateman will stumble at some point. Maybe like trip over for a match, maybe two. But I don't know. I think with this, the way the league is set up now, it's going to be hard to hold on to a belt.
100%. There's a lot of players now, and the way the league is set up, for sure, like you mentioned. Yeah, I mean, my favorite, I've always had a favorite, and I've always loved seeing Roca compete from the very beginning. He's always been one of my all-times, but I'm going to keep him out of this because of that biased, outlook on him.
Why? That was Kalinowski is...
Well, I want to change it up a little bit. I think that my favorite for right now to maybe to keep a strong year going, I do think that Ben Bateman has a very good chance of running the table this year.
Okay,
I really do. I think that he's figured out the game. I think that his studying is on point, like it wasn't a few years ago when he was close, but he's finally there.
Let me ask you this: is he going to beat Merle?
I do think he will beat Merle.
Okay,
I think it's. I think that Ben Bateman will hand Merle his first loss in a live event.
Okay.
That may switch tomorrow. That may switch next week. I don't know, because Merle has also been a guy that's kind of always been there for me as well. But I think that Ben Bateman has a very high chance of going down as the most dominant singles champion ever.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. But my pick to kind of come out of nowhere to have a strong year is someone who announced his return to singles at the awards that we were at, Mr. Mark Andreyko for the Rockstars. 2 years ago,
I respect that.
2 years ago, when he was in singles, he ran the table and he was close. He was very close. He's never won a belt. He has a team belt. Excuse me. He's never won a singles belt. He was this close, and I think in this format, with Roxy now having the experience as the manager, running with them for a while, me mentioning the Odd Couple, I think Andreyko could do some major damage in singles. Yeah. I really do.
I agree with
he's incredibly knowledgeable about all film, and some film that a lot of people aren't knowledgeable in, which plays to his strengths enormously. Having Snyder in his corner helps. Having Roxy in his corner helps. But if they're ever able to get together, having someone like Alex Damon in his corner helps as well. And this team, I mean, look at this team. You have Jeff Snyder, Mark Andreyko, Alex Damon, Stacey Howard, JTE, Adam Gertler, David Del Rio, Jim, I don't know how to say him, Vivida, I think his name is. And so the team is stacked with people, and if they all work together and they kind of play off each other, it could be massive. Put massive advantage into Andreyko's hand this year. But I do think that he has a chance of kind of coming out of nowhere and getting that final shot at a singles belt.
Yeah, fair enough. One other person that has now blipped on my radar a lot more is the Kid.
Yeah, after the New York event.
Yeah,
100%.
Because I feel like, for me, I kind of wrote him... I'll be honest, I wrote him off when he got walloped.
By Bateman in the tournament.
Yeah. And then, after that, I just kind of was like, okay, he's a teams person. And then New York happened, and it's like, holy.
Yeah.
I mean, point-wise, he beat Bibbs.
Yeah.
So,
he almost got Merle.
And he lost to Merle by 1 point.
If Bibbs didn't challenge that challenge,
things would be a lot different.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
That is definitely...
I'm not counting that either.
No.
And look, in the way the league is set up and how many players are, you can't pick one.
No,
you're going to have a handful, but it's interesting conversation. So let's go and move on to teams here. Favorite teams, picks teams. Why don't you start us off, Brian?
I feel like I'm picking the cheap way out just because it's coming. But if Tom and Paul work as well as it looks like it could on paper, that is going to be just like a throat hold. Like, I mean, obviously, Shazam is going to be a team that is literally like, you need to watch out for them. They're always a threat. But I tend to like to go towards like newer people, and that team, if it's going as like I'm assuming it's going to happen in my head, and we see that in this match, I don't see very many teams being able to stop that. And
I'm with you. I think that they have a high chance of doing something very special. For me, you know, I can never count out Founding Fathers. I can't.
No, of course not.
I think that after both of them stumbling, I think that both Merle and Roka have kind of found a stride with each other and have really figured out the game strengths and weaknesses. But as I've been saying for a long time now, you know, and they stumbled that spectacular, I can never count out Shazam. No, I can't. You can't. I think that they're going to get there at some point. I think if there's any chance at a title belt for either Bibiani or Meyer, it's between teams.
Oh, of course.
And I think if we saw how Bibiani played in the singles division with Meyer by his side, he kind of stepped back a little bit.
They were playing singles, and he was working with
exactly, and I think that's why they work better in teams together. But there's one team that after the New York event becomes a little bit more interesting, because of a certain change of personality, I should say.
Oh, I know where you're going.
That is the family.
Yes, it is.
McWeeny and Guy. See, this is a conversation we're going to have all year long.
You mean,
and we've had it. We've had it a
Mr.
lot.
Debonair?
Mr. Debonair himself, yes. We've had it a lot. The Godfather and Debonair. We've talked about it, how Guy now on a team with McWeeny and Levine changes the game.
Yeah.
And after the New York event, we saw that. He's no longer the dastardly Drew Guy. He's now Debonair, Drew Guy, excuse me. And that goes from heel to face.
Yeah.
What kind of guy are we going to see? And does that mean his studying is going to be a little bit more on point? Having Levine in his corner obviously helps. Having a Levine and McWeeny together obviously helps. No longer having a guy like Robert Meyer Burnett, who's a little bit more, you know, animated and stuff like that on the stage. Levine is all about winning, and he's won a belt with McWeeny, so they know what it takes. This is a team to look out for. This is real. I mean, look at this team record for McWeeny: 14-3.
I know.
14-3. Guy's no slouch either. He's 12-5.
I know.
Him and he on the Action Guys with Bateman. They ran through some teams. You put them together when they were back in their prime with Levine managing. It's a team to look out for.
It is very much so a team to look out for.
All right, so we move on to the Star Wars division. Favorite division?
We already know who I'm picking.
You're picking Mr. Damon.
Mr. Damon. He is my favorite.
Hey, it's hard to vote against. It really is.
If I could pick him for any category he could be in, I'm gonna probably pick him.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, and I'm the one who introduced you to him.
Yes,
you're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome.
Look, he's hard to go against. He really is. He knows everything ins and outs.
Yeah.
It's literally his job, as it is for a lot of people, but it is literally his job.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's definitely a pick to really hard to pass over.
I will say this though, people want to beat him.
That's why I'm going with someone different.
I had a feeling you would.
I have two reasons why I'm going with someone different. One is because of what you just said. People really want to take him down. People really want to take him down. He's arguably the most dominant champion we've seen.
I honestly would say like the thirst to beat someone is probably heaviest on his title.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And there's more Star Wars competitors this year than there ever has been.
Well, there has to be one in each team, so.
And so I do think that, I'll say this, I'll predict this. I think this year at some point we will see that inevitable match of Damon versus Whitwer. I do think it's going to happen. I think it'll happen.
But where is Whitwer going to land?
I think it'll happen. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. You know, like Damon said, he wants an Iron Man match, just straight up question for question. It makes the most sense. Whether or not Damon wins, I'm not sure yet. I will save that for a later day. But I think the one name that really has a chance to beat Damon this year, if he really puts effort into it, he has a team behind his back. Let me see where he is. Where is he? He's on this list somewhere. Where'd it go? Where did it go? It is right there. The Mouthy Mercs. He's with Koi Jandrew.
Yep.
Mr. Joseph Scrimshaw.
I knew you were
Jedi
gonna go,
himself.
I knew you were gonna go for Scrimshaw.
He almost beat Damon a year ago in Chicago.
A lot of people have almost beat Damon.
So Damon there's a difference.
Yeah.
Damon had to answer his 5-pointer. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
Scrimshaw took him down to the wire. If Scrimshaw studies, if he he has a manager who Koi obviously loves this game. Yeah. He's obviously very involved. Scrimshaw's job isn't Star Wars like Damon, but it's damn near Star Wars like Damon.
Pretty much.
I think he has a good shot at beating him. And that record says 1-3. This is a Star Wars division where he was beaten by Damon twice, beaten by Whitwer once.
Star Wars is hard to say records. I feel like records count because it was kind of so all over the place where it was like 5 people are competing and this and it's kind of like muddled. Damon's good. A certain other amount of people are good, but you haven't really seen it in a Schmoedown type thing.
And I think that this is his year to kind of hit the ground running. It's also because I started heavily listening to Force Center and I just love talking to him or listening to him talk. So that's my pick for Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is going to be interesting because people are going to come for heads on Alex Damon.
So does your Star Wars pick lead us into our IG pick by chance?
I'm not going to go as far as him taking an IG belt.
Do you think he'll compete? Alex Damon we're talking about, by the way.
We already know he's competing in Atlanta.
No, I'm saying, do you think he'll compete for a title?
I don't think this year.
See, I think he will.
You really?
I do think he will. I don't know if he'll win, but I really do think he's going to come like a storm.
I completely agree with you on that. I could see him being maybe top 5.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe even top 3, but am I saying that him and Smets are going to at some point go head to head? Probably not. Would I absolutely pay money and love to absolutely see that? 100%. I don't know if I would say that he is going to get that. I feel like he'll come close, but he's not. He probably won't get there.
Totally. So who is your pick?
Honestly, I still kind of love Smets with the coin toss of Kalinowski's going to come for him.
Yep, they're coming for each other.
Yeah,
we've heard it. We heard it at the awards. We were there. We heard it I heard it at Spectacular when I was there. Smets wants that. In his eyes, they're 1-1 right now.
Oh, 100%.
To each other, they're 1-1.
Yeah,
and that means they need that epic battle to break the tie.
Yeah.
Just like Kalinowski and Rachel Cushing did. It's bound to happen.
I love that we have Kalinowski, Cushing. That was one of the most epic rivalries.
Oh, yeah.
That one got put to rest with Rachel retiring, but now we have another one. And it's just as good as the one before.
It's great. But there's one name on here that I've been a fan of from the very beginning.
Oh, I think I know who you're going for.
Who do you think I'm going for?
Do they have to be on the swag squad?
Are they on the swag squad? I get them so mixed up. Not on the swag squad. Who did you think I was picking?
Chandru.
I am not picking Chandru.
Okay.
I think that if this person plays, this person in my eyes is unbeatable. If this person is healthy, and that is Mara Kanapik.
I don't know. I completely forgot about her.
You weren't. So this is where this comes into play. You weren't into the Schmoedown when she was playing.
No.
But
I'm well aware of her.
Just an undefeated run to win the championship, going on an overtime run with Rachel Cushing when one was sick and one had just gotten in a car accident.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it. We've maybe seen it once or twice, a run like she had. If she's healthy, this woman is ridiculous.
She's like, I keep forgetting she's there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I think, holy cow, she's there, like she's someone that everyone needs to be afraid of.
Totally.
And no matter where,
1000%,
where she lands,
she's scary.
Yeah,
she's very scary. I think that she has that photographic mind. Like she just memorizes stuff. Yeah. She has a legit job as like a scientist. Like that plays into it, obviously. I know Smets has been like he's been clamoring for this match. I really do think Schmetz should be scared. I honestly think
100%.
Schmetz. If Mara gets what she wants as far as categories, if she gets in a groove and she's kind of into the game, she doesn't miss a question. She's essentially a Rachel Cushing all over again.
Yeah.
But someone who could end up being better than Rachel. I mean, she beat Rachel Cushing.
Yeah.
And when Rachel Cushing went on her run in IG, Mara Konopik wasn't playing anymore.
Nope.
She had lost the belt to Kalinowski. I think it was Kalinowski. I'm pretty sure it was Kalinowski. Mara. She lost the belt to Kalinowski. I'm pretty sure. Yes. I had to double check that. I'm pretty sure she lost the belt to Kalinowski. She's one of my favorites. She is. From the second she stepped on the scene, her personality and like just how she goes about the game, like I love seeing that type of person because she's just all about the game. She's so like herself on camera, the same exact way Dan is.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it makes sense why they're together.
Yeah.
And it also helps to have them together in the same household as far as training, even though they're in different leagues. Yeah. And we saw Dan say it. He might compete in IG one day. Having them together do this could be scary, but I do think the IG league should look out for Mara when she is healthy, because we know that comes into a factor with her sometimes. Yeah, you know, of course. She runs into a lot of sickness and stuff like that, unfortunately. But when she does get that shot at Schmetz, I'll say it right now, I do think she beats Schmetz. And it's such a bummer because we were supposed to see it 2 weeks ago. I know. That's what we were supposed to see, but you know what happens.
It's funny because I keep forgetting.
I'll say this right now. I think that I don't know if they'll be able to wait that long, but if it's there, I think Christian puts this as the San Diego Comic-Con match, the main event.
Oh, it's not going to go till that far.
It might. There's a chance. What if Schmetz loses it and then gets it back? And it's just sitting there. If this is sitting there where they have a chance to play each other, or if it's vice versa, what if Mara has the title and Schmetz is coming? Either way, if it's sitting there with these two available to play, this will be the Comic-Con match. And we'll 100% be there.
If he does Comic-Con,
they're going to do Comic-Con.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, pretty sure they're doing Comic-Con again.
I will be there.
Yeah, we will be there. We will be there.
Are you gonna go?
I won't go to Comic-Con, but I'll be at Schmoedown.
Shame on you.
Yes. So, but yeah. So there's a pick.
She's just one that like I forget is there, but then I'm instantly like, oh, holy crap.
Yep.
Be scared.
Yeah. So I love going back to watch her matches just because she ripped through people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Destroyed people going up to that fight with Cushing, then the fight with Kalinowski, then the fight with Inman. You know, she just came through the league like a storm. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're going to finish off the show. Those are our picks, by the way. If you guys have anything to add to that or any thoughts on our picks ourselves, make sure you guys leave some thoughts down below in the comments. If you're listening to this audio, we love to hear from you guys on social media. You know, at Qui-Gon Jake for me, at Biavicino for Brian. You guys can shoot us up there. We'd love to talk to Schmoedown. For now, though, we're going to move on to the rankings and finish up with the rankings and how they go now. At the moment, there hasn't been a lot going on in the league.
Just New York
so far. But we have a cool little thing that happened in the Schmoedown Facebook group. And, you know, I'm in there. I'm paying attention to stuff. I get notifications. And yesterday, or 2 days ago by the time this came out, a post scrolled across my screen about asking whether or not we want to see this faction ranking and points every week or every 2 weeks. And I immediately was like, oh my God, this is what we need on the show. Yeah. This is what we want. We want this every week. We want to go through these things. And I know that they post it through the official stuff, but I thought, you know, it'd be so cool to interact with fans and keep them in this ourselves. And so this is thanks to Tobias Rom and Tobias Mustad. I apologize if I'm butchering your guys' names, but I'm only reading it through Facebook at the moment. They did this awesome work, and I'll put the graphic up with the show right now so you guys can see it. But they counted out the points for us, and I want to make sure to shout them out because they do a hard work on this. They're going to be doing it every single week, and I think it's awesome that we can include them on the show, and maybe hopefully one day we'll be able to get them through like Skype or a phone call or something like that to talk about it. But Brian, why don't you go ahead and run through the rankings as far as right now? Only 4 teams have points at the moment, but how do they shake out so far?
First off, let me say thank you for doing this because if it was left to
I was going to leave it up to Brian, but Tobias squared. Thank you guys for doing this because it definitely helps us out on our end.
Yeah, because if you know me and my math skills, this would not have been pretty.
I'll call you guys T squared from now on. T squared.
It would not have been pretty if the math was left up to me. But yeah, so as of right now, we have obviously the Finstock Exchange at number one. That's clearly...
Well, they're at a tie, though, aren't they?
They are, actually, with the usual suspects, who is at a two-way tie for first.
And that's thanks to Andrew Guy.
Yes, Andrew Guy's win against Robert Meyer Burnett. And then floating in the middle, we have the Rockstars, the Dungeon, and Swag and Corruption, all technically tied for third place.
And the Den, correct?
Did I not say the Den?
The Den as well.
Oh, yes,
in there.
sorry.
Yes. All teams that have not competed yet.
Yeah, anyone that hasn't competed, you're technically tied for third place because you haven't done anything.
Yes.
And then in 8th place, we do have the Burning Droogs, which is due to the one match that Robert Meyer Burnett lost.
1.
Yeah, 0 for
Which
1.
is interesting because that's a manager match that's included in the points.
It is. It is.
Didn't think that would happen, but it did.
No. And then obviously in last place, we have the Mouthy Mercs at 0-2 because we had Bibiani and the Kid both competing. Which,
triple threat.
Yeah.
Triple threat. Yeah.
Which
totally.
that was the roll of the dice they were willing to gamble
100%.
on, and
100%.
it backfired, and now that could hurt them.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, look, it's early. It's early. We definitely expected the Mouthy Mercs to be a little bit different because of the triple threat. We thought that there was a high chance that maybe one of them could snag it from Merle.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's what they were planning on.
And I think we expected Guy to beat Burnett. So usual suspects and Burning Droogs at the moment, they are where we expect them to, as well with the Finstock Exchange. I mean, they're obviously the team right now that everyone's looking at. And if they get on a roll, they could get a giant lead because they basically have a chance of sweeping Atlanta in multiple capacities.
Absolutely.
Because unlike what they originally was going to happen as far as participation points, you get participation points for title matches. Mm-hmm. There's 2 Finstock Exchange members in the title match in Atlanta, so that's already 2 points right there.
Yeah.
And so, and if I'm not mistaken myself, and I'll have to talk to Tobias on this one, I'm pretty sure you get points for even losing the title match.
Yeah, you got, I think, 1.
One or 2, I think it is, for the title match.
I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure it's 1.
And so, at the moment, they're going to walk away. They're going to walk away with at least 5 points from that match. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to have to do a lot of catching up.
Yeah.
A lot of catching up. And this could also go for the Den this week as well. They have 2 giant matches. They could walk away with some massive points as well. Mm-hmm. And we could see a shift in the points. But once this really all gets going, we're going to be able to really dive into it. But for the moment, that's how it shakes out. And I think for what we can say is it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah, and not to mention at Atlanta, you do have that
the undercard. The Rockstars versus Finstock with Emily Rose Jacobson and Damon.
That's another set of points that could fall into Finstock Exchange.
And that is scary. That's very, very scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah, you could look at them by like March having close to 10 points.
Yeah, totally.
In 2 months. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. And so you don't know. And unfortunately, the New York match, it didn't help the league outside of Finstock Exchange.
Totally.
So yeah, I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. So
all right, guys. Well, there it is, our second episode of A Certain Point of View. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see on the screen here, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find us on Apple, Anchor, and Spotify. We are up also on Google and Stitcher and all these other podcast platforms you guys can find us on. It's just a lot easier access for multiple people. We really, really appreciate it if you guys can give us like a thumbs up and a share. More of that allows more people to see us, not just through the Facebook page or through Twitter on hashtags or anything. More people will be able to find us if that happens. And so just hit that thumbs up button. We can really, really appreciate it. Brian Avellino, Jake Berlin, we are A Certain Point of View. So thank you for joining us. And make sure you guys check back for our reactions. And again, as I mentioned earlier, our weekly show will be up every single week, either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how our schedules work out. Yeah. We're either going to shoot on Tuesday or Wednesdays, which will be up the following day. And so, but it will be weekly. And once matches get going, this conversation will be a lot more fun and heated into certain stuff because we like different things. And
absolutely.
So that is why we are called A Certain Point of View. Yeah. So any final thoughts, Brian?
I'm so ready for the Civil War match.
We're getting going. We're getting going. Ready. So yeah, check back for that reaction as well, the New York reaction as well. And let us know what you think of our reaction style as well, because we're kind of working kinks out on that.
We're still figuring out what we even like.
Exactly. All right, guys, whatever it is, A Certain Point of View number 2. That is Brian. I am Jake. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.